The Minecraft village could use an upgrade. So, today I'll be upgrading it. Let's start with this build. It's small, but it's a simple village house, so I think I can do it well. So, this was a pretty simple build to make. I started by adding this extension part and making the roof out of cobblestone. Now, I made the roof a little too high, as you can see, so I had to break that, but that's all good. As you can see, I'm making the roof here, and it looked a lot better than the original. Then I was adding spruce, some windows, and a door. And I also added some bushes and plants. And that was a good idea because it adds a lot to the build. Then I added a chimney. And here's the final build. It was so simple, but I really like it. I like the cozy vibes it gives, and I can't wait to make more. Next, there's 3 more houses down the road that I want to upgrade. Starting with the first one, which I kept it similar to the last build we did. And it's just a little smaller and no extension. And this was pretty simple to make. I did everything that I did before, like adding a chimney, redoing the roof, redoing the walls, and everything like that. And it turned out pretty good. Next, for the second house, I did a little differently because the house itself was different. I was experimenting with a block choice, and then I ended up doing the same thing I did, just with a different roof. And for the third house, I did the same thing I did on the last house, and it's just a little shorter than the last one because it's at a lower elevation. And here's the finished product. I'm really happy with all 3 of these builds. I think they turned out really good. Next, there's a boring fence that I quickly redesigned, and that made the whole place 1,000 times better. Next, I want to do both churches in the village. These churches were really easy to make. All I did was add a little bit of texture to the cobblestone and added shutters to the windows, and that's like it. So, these builds were really easy to make. We barely have anything in the village so far, so I'm going to do all of the small little tiny houses, starting now. Okay, so for these builds, they're just repeats basically, because the whole village just has the same number of the same houses, and I just wanted to quickly do this. So as you can see, I'm basically adding in the same house because that's how the original village did it. Okay, so the next house I want to do is this house. So this house was very easy to do. I didn't have to do anything with the shape. I just replaced things. So I did the doors, the windows, the fences in front, the balcony on top, and normal things like the roof, more windows, more doors, like basically everything that I've been doing, just a different shape. And this is the finished product. I'm actually really happy with this house. I like the shape of the house, and I think it turned out pretty good. Here is the next build that I want to upgrade. So this build was very simple. Basically all I did was what I've been doing, except there's a chimney. So that's pretty cool. And here's the final build. It was very simple. The next house I wanted to do was the blacksmith. So this house was pretty simple, but pretty unique. The blacksmith is usually very important in a village, and it usually has the best loot, so I wanted to make it very good. I textured the walls, and I did basically everything I've been doing, except it's a different shape, and there's the extension. I did do a little bit of an exterior underneath, but it wasn't anything that crazy. Finally, I added the bushes and stuff that I've been doing. And here is the finished house. Next, there's another blacksmith that I quickly redesigned into the new version. And there's this building, which I'm not going to bother showing me building it, so here's the finished product. Next, I want to upgrade this building. So this is the biggest building by far, and it also had a balcony, which was fun to make. And so far, the build was pretty easy. My only challenge was the roof, because it was pretty big, and it was a weird shape, but I got it done. And here's the finished product. I'm really happy with this. So that's every house in the village done. For now, at least. I'm gonna add a lot more later on. There's still a couple more things in the village for me to upgrade. So here they are upgraded. Now that everything that was in the village is done, I want to do a bit of terraforming. All I did was fix up the paths and add a little bit of terraforming to the terrain, just like this. Next, I want to add a lot more village houses. So I made this layout, and the red buildings are going to be village houses. I'm not going to show you all of the village houses I made, because I made around 20 of them, but here are a couple. And now that I've done that, the village is looking so much more complete. Here's what the village is looking like so far, and I'm really happy with it. Over here is an orange layout, and I want to make farmland here. The first farm I did, I want it to be very small, so that's what I did, and it wasn't that hard. All I was doing is replacing the outline, then filling it in with wheat. I had to do a bit of terraforming because it was at a slope, but other than that, it was really simple, and it was very satisfying when I started to bone meal it. Then I started adding a scarecrow in, and it turned out pretty well. And then I also added some hay bales. For this next farm, I wanted to add a windmill in the middle, so that's what I did. Alright, now that crazy long time lapse is done, both wheat fields are done, and the windmill is also done, and it turned out pretty good. Next, I want to work on this dark gray outline, which is going to be a castle. So for this castle, I wanted to use a lot of stones and then add wood in later. So I started with stone bricks, and then I added some regular stone on top. I did another layer of the stone bricks afterwards and made this little archway, which was pretty cool. Then I continued the layering on the other side, and this wasn't a big castle, but it was the biggest build that we've done so far. Then I started adding some wooden pillars, just to add a little bit more depth, and I think this turned out really well. And then I added these tall buildings made out of wood. Then I added some flags in on top, made of red wool, and some iron bars for windows. And that is the castle done. I'm really happy with it, and it's also the last building that we need to do. So all I have to do now is some finishing details, like trees and stuff. So I'll see you when that's done. I added some trees in, and it made the village seem so much more complete. I also couldn't help myself, and I added some docks over here and a boat. And that means that the village is done. I really enjoyed working on this project, and I hoped you enjoyed watching. I'll try to do more videos like this, and just more building videos in general, because I know I haven't done one in a while. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video.